So in our previous lecture, we have started design methodology topic. In part 1, we have discussed about the first stage, that process and the design specification. Then the second stage is thermal specification. In part 1, we have just introduced a thermal specification stage, which involves two problems basically, rating problem and the sizing problem. So in our this part, we are going to continue from the thermal specification.
What is the rating problem? So it is determination of heat transfer rate and pressure drop performance for either existing heat exchanger or for the heat exchanger which we are going to design. So this is the rating problem in which we are going to find out the heat transfer rate and the pressure drop performance for the available heat exchanger or the heat exchanger which we are going to design, so that the size and all the input data is already decided, and after that from that input data we are going to find out heat transfer rate and the pressure drop performance. So this is considered to be the rating problem. So what are the inputs for the rating problem? So the input for the rating problem is the construction, flow arrangement, overall dimension, complete details of the materials and the surface geometry on the both sides, include that non-dimensional heat transfer and pressure drop characteristics. So these are the input parameters which are predefined for the new heat exchanger or the existing heat exchanger. The fluid outlet temperatures, total heat transfer rate and the pressure drop on each side of the exchanger then determined in the rating problem. So for the rating problem, these are the input parameter which we need for the available heat exchanger or for the heat exchanger which we are going to design. So from this input parameter we are going to find out the rating. It means we are going to find out the heat transfer rate and pressure drop. So for heat transfer rate we required fluid outlet temperatures and the pressure drop on each side of the heat exchanger. Now second one is the sizing problem. So just opposite of the rating problem, in a sizing of the heat exchanger, the design of new heat exchanger means the selection of the construction type, flow arrangement, clean material and physical size of the heat exchanger is going to be decided according to the predefined heat transfer rate or predefined allowable pressure drop in a specific condition or from the customer's demand, that this kind of this much of heat transfer rate is must required. So according to the heat transfer rate and allowable pressure drop, you are going to design a new heat exchanger. You are going to decide the size, its clean material, its flow arrangement, its mass flow rate. So these are the parameter which is going to be decided as per the required heat transfer rate, customer need and allowable pressure drop. So this is the sizing problem. Like for shell and tube heat exchanger, a sizing problem is a general, refers to the determination of the type of shell, diameter and length of the pipe which you are going to use in the shell, tube layout and the number of pass arrangement for fulfilling the final heat transfer rate. For a plate heat exchanger, in a sizing problem, the selection of the plate size, number of plates, passes arrangement, gasketed types, these are going to be decided according to the final required heat transfer rate and allowable pressure drop. So what are the inputs? So in inputs of sizing problem is the surface geometries, include the dimensions according to the input, heat transfer and pressure drop characteristic, fluid flow rates, inlet and outlet fluid temperatures, fouling factor and pressure drop on each of the fluid sides. Now in a basic thermal and hydraulic design methods, based on the number of variables associated with the analysis of heat exchanger, and dependent and independent dimensionless groups are formulated. The relation between dimensionless groups are subsequently determined for different flow arrangements. Now depending on the choice of dimensionless group, several design methods are being used by industries. This methods is NTU method, LMTD method, correction factors and other methods. So inputs to the thermal and hydraulic procedure are surface heat transfer and flow friction characteristics, geometrical properties and thermophysical properties of the fluid. So flow friction characteristic like dimensionless number relations we require, and friction versus Reynolds curve in the dimensionless form. Surface geometrical properties parameter for the input are minimum free flow area according to the applications, core frontal area, heat transfer surface area, hydraulic diameter and the flow length, and thermophysical properties according to the fluid like dynamic viscosity, density, specific heat and thermal conductivity. So these are the input parameter, or we can say that the input criteria for the thermal and hydraulic design methods. Okay. Now the third stage is a mechanical design. At the first stage, you have defined the process specification or problem specification according to customer need. You have specified some initial parameter like type of heat exchanger, flow arrangements according to the availability. In a second stage, you have decided according to the thermal design, according to the rating problem and sizing problem. You have selected particular design for the particular method for the design of heat exchanger like LMTD method, NTU method, required inputs like type of heat exchanger, flow arrangements, calculation of foulings and corrosiveness. Now it is the third stage, in which mechanical design, in which heat exchanger core, type of method of manufacturing, type of strength required for the particular heat exchanger, maintenance consideration, fluid distribution devices, pumps and motors for the pumping power, and support and mounting for the heat exchanger are going to be decided. So this in which the heat exchanger elements like core and matrix where heat transfer takes place, and the fluid distribution elements like manifolds, inlets and outlet nozzles and pipes. So mechanical structure design should be performed individually for this heat exchanger element for the overall effectiveness of the heat exchanger. So the heat exchanger core is designed for the desired structural strength, because the core is the main portion of the heat exchanger where all the main heat transfer takes place. Based on operating pressure, temperature and corrosiveness of or chemical reaction, the core is going to be designed. Pressure and thermal stress calculations are also performed to determine the thickness of the critical part in a heat exchanger, such as the fin, plate, tube, shell and tube sheet. A proper selection of material and method of bonding like brazing, soldering and welding or tension welding fins to plate or tubes is made depending on the operating temperatures, pressures, types of fluid which are going to be used for in a heat exchanger, fouling and corrosion potential, design life and so on. After mechanical design stage, there is a manufacturing consideration. So in a manufacturing consideration, which involves manufacturing equipment consideration, and second one is a processing consideration. So what is manufacturing equipment consideration? So in equipment consideration, which is influence, which design should be selected, include existing tooling versus new tooling, availability and limitation of dies, tools, machines, furnace and manufacturing spaces, production versus offline setup, and funding for the capital investment. According to that, manufacturing of equipment consideration, these are the consideration for the manufacturing of the equipment. Now process consideration, which process which we are going to follow for the manufacturing or for the design of heat exchanger. So it is related to how individual parts and components of heat exchangers are manufactured and eventually assembled. This includes manufacturing of individual parts within specific tolerance, flow of parts, stacking of heat exchanger core, and eventual brazing, soldering, welding or mechanical expansion of tubes or heat transfer surfaces, leak-free mounting of headers, tanks, manifolds or return hairpins on the heat exchanger core, mounting of pipe, washing and cleaning of heat exchanger, leak testing, mounting of heat exchanger in the system and structural support. Now the upcoming stage, or we can say that the second last stage is costing. That the overall cost of the heat exchanger design, or we can also call it lifetime cost, includes capital cost, installation cost, then operating cost, and last disposal cost. What is the capital cost? So the capital cost, it is total installed cost, includes the cost associated with the design, materials, manufacturing like machinery, labor and overhead, testing, shipping, installation and depreciation. Installation of the heat exchanger on the site can be high as capital cost for some shell and tube and plate heat exchanger. This is the installation cost. Then the operating cost, which consists of the cost associated with the fluid pumping power, warranty, insurance, maintenance, repair, cleaning, lost production, downtime due to failure, energy cost associated with the utilities, steam, fuel and the water. Now the trade-off factor. The trade-off factor means the optimization. We can say that in second word, it is optimization for the cost reduction or so other parameter. So after detailed evaluation of thermal, mechanical, manufacturing design consideration, accurate costs are estimated. Now designer is in the position to evaluate cost related trade-off factor, so that in which factor they can make a compromise for the cost reduction or some other factor. So the trade-off factors related to physical input of the problem specification and constraint they imposes, including operating conditions. So trade-off analysis may involve both economic consideration and the second law of thermodynamics associated with the heat exchanger design. So if the heat exchanger is one component of a system or a thermodynamic cycle, an optimum system design is necessary rather than just an optimum heat exchanger design to arrive at a pressure drop Q to minimize utilities like a pinch analysis, cost and so on for optimum system. So the final output of the analysis is an optimum design or possibly several such designs depending on the number of surface and core geometries are selected. At the end stage you have at least one or more than one designs for the according to the customer need or according to the predefined heat transfer rate. So this is the total design methodology, or we can say that the design stage, or we can say that the stage which steps we need to follow for design of any new heat exchanger. So that's it for today. Thank you so much.